against somebody else's ego. He may be feeling superior to me, or he may be feeling inferior to me. All these interactions are totally false. And the real laughter, real pleasure, you know how, see how the kids playing around? That kind of enjoyment is never there among us. Every time we gather together, we're thinking, how much he has, how much he has. That's how the society goes. And then we depart and go home. And that's how life is. The real true pleasure never surfaces. Unless it's
unless you come LSY.
Unless we LSY, right? I had to say that. So, the question is, we should start questioning the existence of greed. Not really give it an importance whether greed is good or bad. The thing is that greed is created, it's totally artificial. It's a dream. It's like almost like we see a dream. Now, does it matter how much money you made in last dream? Doesn't matter. How much you lost? Doesn't matter, right? Once you wake up, it's all the same. So, the greed lets you play with the material world. Yeah, it lets you win few things here and there and all that. But when the death comes, which is actual awakening to the spiritual side, does it matter? Doesn't matter. You're still gonna be going empty-handed anyway. Yes.
The Deepak Chopra had said,
right,
in his lifetime, he has seen so many people on a deathbed.
Right, right.
They have only two regrets.
Mm-hmm.
First, I wish I lived my life honestly.
Right.
The second, I wish I spent more time with my family.
That's all.
Yeah. Nobody wished that they had an extra $1 million in the bank account.
Exactly.
Nobody.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So, greed is not something that you have to run away from. And at the same time, greed is not something you should go ahead full-fledged ahead with it either. The greed is something that you can just look at it. And the way you can look at it is by observing it. You just observe. When you are full-fledged in the rut of the greedy actions, you're not going to have time to think about it. Oh, I'm too busy. I have to do this. The only time you step back and you analyze the whole greed, you will realize that it's useless. If you had a dream, and even if somebody beat you up in the dream, if you woke up with the wound on your arm, I would say, yes, it's worth it to worry about it. But even it does not do that even. The question is, whatever we do in this sansar stays with sansar. It does not go with you. And it's a totally useless exercise. So, it comes to a beautiful ghazal. Normally we don't do that. But this is really nice. And I think we have done it once. But it's really nice. It's very, very pertaining to the subject we're talking about. He said, "Ae mere hamnasi, chal kahin aur chal. Is chaman mein ab apna guzara nahi." This chaman is the whole sansar is compared with a chaman, garden. Greenery. He says, let's go somewhere else. This is not where we're gonna really click. बात होती गुलों तक तो सह लेते हम, अब तो कांटों पे भी हक हमारा नहीं. I am not allowed to pluck a single flower from this sansar. I would understand that because flower is something people would fight for. I can understand that. But even the canto, even a thorn that used to give me so much pleasure, suffering and pain and suffering, I'm not allowed to take with me. That's what I'm saying. When the greed brings good results, everything seems okay. Everybody likes it. But when the greed brings bad results, even that bad results, you cannot take it with you. Granted, you could not build a mansion, but even a tiny jhopadi, a small hut that you had built for yourself, maybe you had tiny, so many holes, and when we were getting wet in the monsoon, whatever, even that you cannot take it with you. So material world is so useless. And that uselessness of the material world should spark your journey to the spirituality. So, ऐ मेरे हम नसी, चल कहीं और चल, इस चमन में अब अपना गुजारा नहीं. बात होती गुलों तक तो सह लेते हम, अब तो कांटों पे भी हक हमारा नहीं. ऐ मेरे हम नसी. दी सदा दौर पर कभी तूर पर, किस जगह में तुमको पुकारा नहीं. Now he is trying to find God in this sansar. He says, every nook and corner I have looked for you. I shouted for you. I called you. I cannot find you. ठोकरे ये खिलाने से क्या फायदा. He says, I am being bounced around so many places. What good is that? साफ कह दो मिलना गवारा नहीं. Just tell me that I'm not gonna be able to see you in this sansar. Just tell me, I'll accept it. ऐ मेरे हम नसी. दी सदा दौर पर और तूर पर, किस जगह में तुमको पुकारा नहीं. ठोकरे ये खिलाने से क्या फायदा, साफ कह दो मिलना गवारा नहीं. ऐ मेरे हम नसी. गुलिस्तां, गुलिस्तां is the chaman, the garden. गुलिस्तां को लहू की जरूरत पड़ी, when it needed blood. सबसे पहली गर्दन हमारी कटी. I was the one who sacrificed to make this garden, to make this sansar. I worked so hard to build this Apple computer. I worked so hard to invent a theory of relativity. I did all these things, and yet I cannot take anything with me. I worked so hard to build this mansion and give such a satisfactory life for my kids. I cannot take anything with me. Gulistan ko. What's that?
You are leaving the example for your kids.
Of course, I understand that, but what kind of example? Example of greed or example of spirituality?
Nobody takes anything.
Go beyond the 10th rung. Go to the 20th and realize, right? Nobody says don't go to the 20th rung. Buddha did everything. He achieved everything. And then he found the uselessness of it. He had everything. So nobody says don't do anything in life. Do it, but realize the uselessness of it. But there is life beyond that. There is a more beautiful life beyond the matter, you know. So गुलिस्तां को लहू की जरूरत पड़ी, सबसे पहली गर्दन हमारी कटी. फिर भी कहते हैं मुझे ये अहले चमन, ये चमन है हमारा तुम्हारा नहीं. After sacrificing, still it is not yours. So how cruel the world can be. ऐ मेरे हम नसीब. जालिमो अपनी किस्मत पे नाजा ना हो. Now he's talking to Sansar. Now looks like Sansar is so proud in itself. He's talking to...
Laughing at you.
Right. So जालिमो अपनी किस्मत पे नाजा ना हो. दौर बदलेगा. दौर बदलेगा, ये वक्त की बात है. There is gonna be a time things will change. वो यकीन सुनेगा सदाएं मेरी. At some point God is gonna listen to me. क्या तुम्हारा खुदा है हमारा नहीं? So he's now challenging. He's becoming desperate. He says, this is not fair. I did all these things and yet you're not giving me anything. I have to go somewhere else, right? आज आए हो तुम, कल चले जाओगे. Now he's talking to Sansar. You are here with me, but tomorrow you may not be with me. आज आए हो तुम, कल चले जाओगे. ये मोहब्बत को अपनी गवारा नहीं. This is not really called prem.
Love,
This is
yeah.
not really love.
Yeah.
उम्र भर का सहारा बनो तो बनो, दो घड़ी का सहारा नहीं.
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes, and then you're talking about living. That's not really
Yeah.
love. ऐ मेरे हम नसी. आज आए हो तुम, कल तो चले जाओगे. ये मोहब्बत को अपनी गवारा नहीं. उम्र भर का सहारा बनो तो बनो, दो घड़ी का सहारा नहीं. ऐ मेरे हम नसी. अपनी जुल्फों को रुख से हटा लीजिए. Now he's realizing there is some covering over what I'm looking for. The matter that we see is a finite swarup of consciousness. And the spiritual world is the unmanifested world of consciousness. God is everywhere. God is infinite. You cannot divide matter and spirit into two compartments. We have to realize that. Because if we do that, the consciousness loses its infinite structure, then where is the infinity? Yes, you are allowed up to here, but not in the matter. And that's what I always had an issue in the Jainism and the Advait philosophy. In Jainism, they say matter has always existed, at least the way I understand, in its own fashion, forever. And forever is forever. And Atma is a separate thing. And it's difficult to come to terms in that context. So, if you really want to keep Atma infinite, you have to incorporate matter into that. So matter is a manifest form of consciousness. So, coming back to our ghazal. अपनी जुल्फों को रुख से हटा लीजिए, मेरा जुखे नजर आजमा लीजिए, आज घर से चला हूँ यही सोचकर, या तो नजरे नहीं या नजारा नहीं. All these senses that are feeding me, all these impulses, there has to be something more than that. It's just not adequate. It's just not enough. What I'm looking for, I'm not finding it in this material world because I'm looking at only matter, right? So he's saying I have left the house, either my nazare nahi or nazara nahi. Nazara is all this manifested form. Either that will not exist or I will not exist. So अपनी जुल्फों को रुख से हटा लीजिए. The face that is behind all this zulf, the hair, just take it apart. Let me see you. He's talking to God now. अपनी जुल्फों को रुख से हटा लीजिए, मेरा ज़ौक़े नज़र आजमा लीजिए, आज घर से चला हूँ यही सोचकर, या तो नजरे नहीं या नज़ारा नहीं, ऐ मेरे हमनसी चल कहीं और चल, इस चमन में अब अपना गुजारा नहीं. बात होती गुलों तक तो सह लेते हैं, अब तो कांटों पे भी हक हमारा नहीं. So the question is, wherever we put malkiyat, ownership, everything that we put ownership slips away. So what is the use? The ownership can be put in only when you can perceive it at the mind level, something that you can see. You cannot put ownership on a bhav. You cannot put ownership on the feelings, right? So matter can be owned, and ownership creates the fights, creates the stress, creates the greed, creates the anxiety, So we have to come out of this finite structure of life, and then only we can reach the infinite consciousness. So when we say greed is bad, we are not really going away from greed. We're really going away from the bad results of the greed, because our desire was to bring good results from the greed. We did not succeed, and that's why we hate greed. So when the scriptures say, they never go into these details. So this is very subtle. All these shastras, they give you the list of all the things to do and list of things to avoid. And of course there is a reason behind it, but only when you go behind it, then only realize what is the importance of all these rules. But following the rules will never really help you until you have this understanding either, that even if greed wins, is bad for you. Because if you look at it, now greed can be in a very various forms. Whether you have a greed of money is one thing, greed of other objects of pleasure, greed of people, greed of pad, greed of fame, greed of Paramatma, greed of heaven, whatever. I did X amount of tap, that gives me certain amount of moksha. It's business. Where is samadhi? I am a condemned Atma. I have to purify myself. Same thing.
Desire.
Exactly.
Desire is there.
I am made to believe that I am a condemned Atma. I have to do X amount of tap, X amount of punya. I have to earn certain amount of punya. I have to do certain goods to certain people. I have to feed certain Brahmins. I have to do this. I have to do that. 33,000 rules Buddhism has.
I have to be devotee.
By the time you finish everything reading and understand, half of your life will be gone. So, yeah, And there are so many sub-rules of that. These are 33,000 main rules. But the problem is not them. Problem is us. We don't want to go deeper into understanding the whole thing. We don't want to spend time. The time is the essence. It's a McDonald's. All these religions are McDonald's of spirituality. The real spirituality, you have to spend time. These are all fast foods. They say, okay, do this, and this, and you're done. You drive through and you have hamburger in your plate. And that's it, so.
It's a checklist.
Yeah, so that's what people want. So people say, okay, that's what you want, that's what you get.
Don't.
So all these rules and regulations don't take you anywhere, right? So when you say greed is bad, there is a big spiritual science behind it, right? Now, if there is a beautiful lake, now, whether your greed is about stupid things like money, for example, or sex, or drugs, or alcohol, or your desire is for heaven, or punya in the next life, or many lives to come, whatever, how does it matter?
Same thing.
You are not in heaven right now. You want to be in a heaven. What's the difference?
Desire.
Whether you throw a stone on a lake or a Kohinoor Hira, what difference does it make? It's going to still create the ripples. Same ripples. But the ripples will be there. Loss of ripples is the samadhi. Thoughtlessness, nirvichar state, is the state of samadhi. And the greed is one of the main force for generating the thoughts. Now it doesn't matter, good thoughts, bad thoughts, ugly thoughts, doesn't matter. Thoughts are the cause of suffering. So, this is just another trick that is set up by the ego to keep our mind and the body in action. That, okay, there is some unknown future that is waiting for you to come, and you have to work at it. And your mind stays occupied all the time and then never rests. But it's very tricky because that's the whole purpose of having the ego. The ego stays alive by doing all these things. If you had no objects, there won't be any need for ego. You will be in a samadhi as it is. But that's the death of the ego. And when the death of the ego takes place, the samadhi happens. Even samadhi, you don't have to really work at it, because that's another object too. I'm not in samadhi. He says, a lot of people come and ask, he says, Rajni says, I don't have peace in life. So Rajni says, do samadhi. He says, okay. Did 3 weeks, 4 weeks of samadhi. I didn't get peace yet. Same thing. You made the peace an object. An objective of a peace was not achieved that you didn't have right now. So then again, there is discomfort. So for samadhi, you just do it and the peace just happens. It's a byproduct. It's not an object, right? So we have to realize at this point that all the benefits that the greed brings and all the miseries that greed brings is all fake. Everything about matter is fake because it keeps changing all the time, to the point that we will lose it 100% by the time we die. Before that also we may lose 80-90%, maybe 10% will be left, even that will be gone. So either way, so basically exercising greed in the material world is a futile exercise. Once we realize the futility of our actions, it will automatically drop. When you realize the futility of playing with a rag doll, you're not gonna play with it anymore. At that point, nobody has to come and tell you that, oh, you're grown up now, you shouldn't be playing with the doll anymore. You just give it up automatically. So there cannot be any positive effort either to get rid of the greed. And that's what happens. When you follow the set of instructions given by the scriptures, that's what happens. Oh, I cannot be greedy because certain scriptures told me that I should not be doing this. 10 commandments, 1500 commandments, 33,000 commandments. They say, I should not be doing that. I should be practicing religion. I should be doing that. I should not be doing that.
You should not be even trying to give up the greed.
Exactly. Because that itself is an
It should
action.
not happen by itself.
Exactly. It's like when you light up a lamp in a room. It's full of darkness. What do you do with the darkness?
It
You
just
don't-
disappears.
Exactly. You don't collect the darkness and throw it out of the room.
Right.
The light, when the light comes, the darkness just does not exist. You have to realize, it's very simple to understand. Samadhi is a state of thoughtlessness, right? All the negative things that we have, the greed, the fear, the anger and jealousies and possessions and whatever, the stress, it's all about thoughts.
It requires thoughts.
So thoughts and thoughtlessness. When you reach a state of thoughtlessness, what is left?
Nothing.
You don't have to actively remove the thoughts, right?
Yeah, it just happens.
It's a futile exercise too.
Hmm.
You just be in a samadhi and thoughts just disappear. And that's what